Welcome to Francis Quilts, the site dedicated to the wonderful art of quilting, with a few other fun things thrown in as well. If you like what you see here, be sure to subscribe. Welcome back. Today I'm working on a quilt of valor using fabrics that had been provided to me by the Charity Bee in my local guild. Now, many of these fabrics came pre-cut into 5-inch squares, so I have to figure out how to work with those. For the design that I'm doing, my plan is to put a checkerboard border around the initial panel that I have been given to work with. The problem is I want these squares in the checkerboard to be 2 inches finished, so that would be 2.5 inches cut. And I've got to figure out how am I going to turn these two 5-inch pieces into sets of checkerboards. So here's the solution that I came up with. First of all, I know that I could cut these just in 4 pieces right there and then sew them one at a time, but who wants to sew things one at a time when you can sew a bunch of them at once? So my idea has been this: taking the one of the fabrics and put them face down with right sides together on top of this block. Get it as even as you can. There's a little discrepancy in the cutting, but that's all right. Now I'm going to take it to the machine and sew a seam down here and another seam on the other side, 1/4 inch in. Let's go to the machine. Now we're back again with a seam 1/4 inch in all the way down on these sides. So the next step is to cut this piece in half along this line right here. So I'm going to turn it, get my ruler and rotary cutter. I'm going to line the 2.5 inch mark up along the outside edge, not the sewn edge, but the outside edge. And I'm going to also, just to make sure that I'm keeping things straight, I'm going to line up the 5-inch here and the edge of the ruler right here. And I'm going to make my cut. Now let's take it to the iron and press it to the dark side. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back with these 2 strips with the fabric pressed to the dark side. And now I'm ready to subcut these down into 2.5 inch strips again. So I'm going to turn it this way. I'm going to line my ruler up with the 2.5 inch mark on the bottom here. And I'm also going to push this one of these lines into that seam, into that ditch caused by the seam allowance, just to make sure that I have everything straight, and I'm going to give it a cut. Let's do it with the next one. 2.5 inches at the bottom, pushing into that seam, and let's give it another cut. And look, that quickly I have 2 4 patches ready to sew. It was faster, it was easier, much less coming and going and fiddling with little pieces of fabric, and I'm excited to see what it's going to look like in this quilt. I'll show you more as the quilt progresses. Thanks for watching. Remember, if you like what you've seen, be sure to subscribe. You can also find my blog at francisquilts.com, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Francis Quilts, and on Pinterest at Francis Quilts 57. Hope to see you again soon. Keep on quilting.